This morning, I am glad to have Lauren Crosby joining us.
Good morning.
Good morning. Nice to have you here.
Yes, we're stoked.
Great to discover your music with this album that we got a couple months ago called I Said Take Me to the Water.
Yeah.
Is this your first record?
It's my second full-length album, studio album. I did one when I was 19. Didn't really know what I was doing. This one is a lot more produced and, well thought out, whereas my first one was a little wacky.
Okay. All right.
This one I like a lot.
Well, it's so do we. We really like it.
Thank you.
You're from Maine. In fact, you just met a coworker of ours who,
Yes,
I don't know, she saw you were from Maine or something.
Yeah, how refreshing it is. I can really whip out the Maine accent if I want to. She just heard that, but yeah it's nice because we're down here touring, and so we found out what a holler was the other day. We've never heard a holler. We don't call it that in Maine. We'd call it a valley.
Oh, well, we call it that too.
Okay.
We're bilingual here. And I mean,
Western North Carolina.
This sounds so cliche, but you're from Maine, and is it true that you are the daughter of a lobster fisherman?
I am, yes. Commercial lobsterman.
Yeah.
Yes. So I grew up on an island in Maine, filling bait bags and working on my dad's lobster boat. Work ethic is really, I have a big work ethic, and I think I owe it all to that because it's a hard living.
It is.
The winters, I don't know, do you guys get snow here?
Yes.
Okay, you do get snow here.
Oh, but not nearly as much as you, I'm sure.
Yeah, you ever had a nor'easter? No. Yeah. No, it's good. It's the work ethic is from that. Definitely.
Yeah.
My upbringing.
And actually, I've heard that the lobster harvest and population is kind of hanging in the balance or compromised somewhat lately. Is that true?
Yes. I mean, it goes back and forth every year. I think what we're seeing is the lobsters start crawling later in the season. And so we hit it around August and September where it used to be June and July.
Okay.
And it's all about, you got to say your prayers and blessings to the sea gods and goddesses.
Yeah.
And so hopefully this year will be a good year.
Good. But we're not here to talk lobsters and the lobster trade. We're here to talk about
Make me hungry.
You got some wonderful songs in your belt, and just played yesterday or this past weekend up in Todd, North Carolina, Sirens on the Mountain Festival.
The high country, beautiful up there.
Yeah.
Reminded me of a little bit of redwoods and a little bit of Montana. That's what it reminded me of.
Indeed. I could see that for sure.
Beautiful.
And why don't we hear a song that maybe played over the weekend or something else? What do you want to start off with?
Yeah, this is a song called I Work, I Work, I Work. It's a song about being on the road.
What a nice song on your new release. Lauren Crosby here on WNCW.
Yeah, thank you.
That's not from your release. That is actually live here on WNCW and also through our web stream in addition to FM. So hello, everyone listening through WNCW.org. And we are filming this thanks to your bandmate, Aaron.
Yes, my bandmate Aaron's hanging out today. What up, Aaron? We're here on Facebook Live, so if you guys are tuned in to the good old Facebook page, Lauren Crosby, my band page should come up and you can look at it.
Yeah, we're looking at it right now. There you are. See?
Yeah.
I could get out my camera. We could film Aaron doing a live stream of you, and I could live stream the live stream.
Wow.
And then we have Steve here for WNCW recording to put on our YouTube page later.
Sweet.
Multi-dimensional.
Yeah, I'm telling you, this is high tech.
It might, I don't know, break laws of quantum physics. I don't want to do that.
I mean, it's not even, 11 o'clock yet? What time is it? Boom.
Yeah.
My mind.
Not to mention FCC laws, probably. So you're through the area and from Maine, surrounded by water. And this album's called I Said Take Me to the Water. Nice mention of redwoods there, like you brought up redwoods a little bit ago, but that song mentions Joshua trees and redwoods and water.
Yeah.
I'm getting the impression, Lauren, water is a bit of a theme.
It is. Yeah, I mean, I lived in Albuquerque, New Mexico for 6 months. I studied Spanish out there at the university. And I'll tell you what, I came back from that, and I needed to be near water because there was nothing for 6 months of just straight, dry desert land. And it was great. The sunsets were beautiful, but I definitely have salt water running through my blood.
Yeah.
That needed to be fulfilled. So got my whitewater rafting guide's license that summer when I moved back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So a good number of your songs, does the water kind of, pardon the pun, kind of bubble up or percolate up into content?
Definitely. I mean, especially this album, it's more of the title for the album, I Said Take Me to the Water, came from lyrics. The next song that I'm going to play, Sunshine in My Soul, that I wrote for my mom. And is more out of frustration. If you can picture me saying, I said, take me to the water, because where I usually retreat to when I'm having a rough time is either the ocean or a lake, something where there's water. So the theme of this album is a little darker. I mean, it's more about my distress times if you really sit down and listen to it. So I said, take me to the water is just a calming mechanism for me.
Okay. Yeah, I was going to ask, what is it about the water that you find soothing? Is it just what you're used to?
It's just familiar.
Familiar,
It's
yeah.
familiar to me, right? It's so tough because I grew up, I swear to God, they dipped me in salt water right when I was born because it's hard to explain. It's just in me.
Yeah.
Especially, we grew up on a wharf, so my dad's a working lobsterman, so we had 2 lobster boats growing up and skiffs and canoes and kayaks, and so it was just constantly, I never take it for granted, but I can wake up in the morning and go out on the boat. That is great. And I've traveled a lot of places, and a lot of places I can't do that.
Some people are immersed in a certain either culture or element like that. When they reach adulthood, they want to get out of there and do the opposite. And then sometimes they come back, the prodigal child type of thing. I don't know. Is that why you went to Albuquerque? Or
I mean, yes, because there was a time in my life where I was like, this is not, and it still happens. For me, it's just a big old cycle. Like, you go back home, you love it, you're having a good time, and then I give it about 6 months. I have this 6 months window where I'm having a good time, and then I'm like, okay, I got to go do something else for 6 months, and then I return, go do something. But I think a lot of artists are like that, probably, in a way. People who just constantly have to be moving. Like water.
Yeah,
so,
exactly.
It's just
ebbing and flowing.
Ebbing and flowing, absolutely.
It's Lauren Crosby here on WNCW live this Monday morning. Yeah, so you're going to play Sunshine in My Soul.
Yeah, Sunshine on My Soul. I believe it's the 10th track on the album.
Why, yes, it is.
Yeah, is it?
If memory serves me right.
Yeah, you've been listening to it? Okay. Song's called Sunshine on My Soul.
It is a tune from Lauren Crosby here on WNCW, singing early on a Monday morning.
Yeah.
Such lyrical songs, inspiring lyrics, and a lot of stories I think we can all relate to in your songs. But I'm also really taken by the way you project your voice. I mean, you just open up and you belt it out.
Thank you.
I'm picturing you there over the weekend at Sirens on the Mountain,
yes.
Todd, and just belting it out to the other side of the valley or holler, to the mountains over there. And any particular singers that inspired you or taught you to just project like you do?
Well, projecting like I do, I think it really started out because when I was 13 or 14, actually even younger than that, that's when I really started just heading to the bars and singing. And so, I'd get in underage or whatever because I have a nice singing voice. But you have to be able to be a force and a presence if you're going to be noticed, especially in rowdy shipbuilding, fishing communities, right? And so to be able to be heard over the beer clinking and the people chit-chatting was something that I developed quickly. Musicians who I love, and especially female vocalists who inspire me. I saw Fiona Apple in 2012. She came to the State Theater in Portland. She hasn't toured since. That show blew my mind away. I think she is one of the best contemporary vocalists, and just her force and her lyrics and her power mesmerize me. She would be who I have to say contemporary. And then obviously Janis Joplin, Fleetwood Mac, Stevie Nicks, those are the people that I grew up listening to in the kitchen with my family. But Fiona Apple's one of my all-time favorites.
I nod my head in agreement over seeing Fiona Apple live. It's one thing to hear some of her recordings, and I was like, okay, yeah. She's interesting. You see her live, and she just captivates.
She really, really does.
God, it seems like it's frustrating for acoustic musicians, songwriters who are just singing their heart out, heartfelt songs. Some of them seem autobiographical. I guess it sounds like a lot of them are.
Yeah.
In a venue where there's the clinking of glasses and people chattering and talking amongst themselves. So, I wonder if that's frustrating, or is it actually kind of like a nice way to kind of break the ice of starting to do that on stage and be so vulnerable?
It has gotten old, right? I've been playing since I was playing guitar and writing my music since I was 18. And I started out playing bar shows and bar gigs. And it's great. It's a great way to meet people. However, it does get daunting when you're pouring out your soul and nobody is listening. So you're kind of sitting there singing to bar stools or just people who aren't into it. But there's always that one person. I always feel that way when I show up to a gig. Like, I don't take like this. A lot of musicians will be like, oh, this is an awful gig. That was bad. But, you know, I always feel like there's that one person, whether it be the bartender or whoever, that you have the potential to move. So you can't show up being like, wow, I'm playing this 3-hour set.
Yeah.
But no, as I've progressed as a musician, especially on this tour, booking more house shows where people are actually, you create this community of listeners who are really into it and actually paying attention. And even you play some festival gigs and it's still, people aren't really paying attention. They're there for to be there for the Instagram post, for the whatever. But yeah, focusing more on people who are actually doing listening. And that goes, I think, probably all artists' goal, like
Sure.
all musicians' goal. They just want their songs to be heard.
Yeah.
Yeah. So.
You were at some performance somewhere, and there was one person who heard you mention something about needing or wanting to get a new guitar someday, and lo and behold, you got this beautiful Martin from them.
Yes, back in January, I was playing at Port City Music Hall. I opened for Lizzie. I don't know if you know that's a big. I mean, she's a big act, and so they called me and said we want a local girl to open up. Are you willing to do it? And I said yes, I'll do it solo. But typically, right now, I play with a full band. But yeah, so I just had this kind of beat up Taylor guitar that I'd saved up all my money for when I was like 18 in college, and I have worked that thing to the bone. I mean, because I've been a working musician for like 6 years, and yeah, warped guitar. And this woman saw me in the audience, and she was really moved by my music. And at the next day, I got an email from her saying, "I want to buy you a new guitar."
Wow.
It's like, yeah, that's super special. Yeah, and I do not take it for granted. Like it's people like her who make make stuff like this worth it.
And then speaking of great windfalls, somehow Bob Weir of the Grateful Dead got in touch with you, and
yes.
Next thing you know, you're playing at his studio with him? What?
Yeah, I was 19, and one of my friend's dads, we share very similar taste in music, my friend's dad and me, his name Rich Johnson. He had said, TRI Studios is doing this songwriting competition. You should submit your songs because I think they'd really like it. And I was like, okay, well, I'll do it. I'll do anything, whatever. Didn't think much about it. I think a couple of months had passed, and I got a phone call from TRI Studios in San Rafael saying that I had won the contest, and they flew me out to San Rafael, got to go see Bob Weir's studio, record, talk about really, really, really nice. But again, 19, not really knowing what I was doing, just shell-shocked. It was wild times out there. So, but that's where I met Jason Crosby. We're not related, but he heard one of my songs, and he came out and he played fiddle. And he tours with Phil Lesh and Friends. He's with Jenny Lewis right now. But yes, good guy, and just meeting musicians and stuff.
And a lot of interaction with Bob Weir as well, or?
I actually never met him.
Never
he was
met
on
him.
tour.
Oh.
Yeah, he was on tour when I was out there.
Gotcha.
So
yeah.
I think he was on the East Coast and I flew to the West Coast.
Yeah. Well,
yeah.
his loss. Come on.
Oh, come
Bob.
on. That's nice of you to
Jeez, who's your tour manager?
Myself.
I was talking about Bob Weir. Who's his tour manager?
Yeah, come
Messed
on.
that
I don't
one
know.
up.
That would be nice, wouldn't it?
He's dead to me. Lauren Crosby on WNCW. Let's hear another tune.
Yeah, definitely. This is a newer song. Again, with albums, I feel like this is played, and you're hyping up all the songs on the album, but I'm also doing a lot of writing right now because the album is over. So now it's time. Now I'm in my writing time, and hopefully maybe a little record company will pick me up and they can pay for my next album to be made because it's an expensive process. But
as a new song from Lauren Crosby here live on WNCW this morning, live on WNCW and live thanks to live Facebook streaming from her bandmate Erin. Looks like it just ran out, but I think it stays up on the Facebook page for a little while on Lauren Crosby's Facebook page. And a new song, and a song that touches on some of the other jobs that musicians have to do to keep at it and to pay the bills. Shucking oysters, pouring coffee.
Yes,
spreading butter on toast.
Things that I've done.
Yeah, and working hard as a musician. You do a lot of time on the road. In fact, you're on a bit of a tour now from Maine through here on your way to Florida.
Yeah, we're heading down to, after this, I think we're going through Georgia, and then we hit Jacksonville, St. Augustine, and then we're heading over to New Orleans, up through Memphis. and then back. We both have to be back July 5th for festival stuff because he plays in a different band, and and summertime in Maine is very nice. So
Yeah, okay,
we
good,
like
yeah.
want to get back. But right now, I'm a teacher. I teach high school English as a second language. I foresee myself doing that for one more year to pay off my student loans. But so I've worked my touring schedule around being an educator, which props to anybody who teaches public school, because I understand teachers go through a lot. But yes, I see myself being a full-time touring artist in June 2020. One more year of teaching.
All right.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you got your goal set out.
That's the plan.
Career path.
Yeah, it'll probably change tomorrow, but I mean, for right now, that's kind of what's in sight, I think. Yeah.
So, but for the past many years, you've been juggling both, balancing both, the teaching part and with music. And sometimes, it sounds like sometimes the teaching job has sent you on big, long tours. I read that you were teaching in South Korea, teaching English there.
Yeah, so I started out teaching in South Korea. I did 6 months there, and then I got a job teaching in a Yupik Eskimo village on the Bering Sea.
Yeah.
That was wild. Places like that I did not know still existed even in America. I was looking basically at Russia in Toksook Bay, Alaska. Had to fly all my stuff in. It's a dry village. You go by the laws of the elders. Very interesting, and I was teaching all native kids, so they speak Yupik Eskimo. So I did that, and then I actually received a Fulbright fellowship to teach music and English over in Thailand. And so I left Alaska, spent a year in Thailand, and I just got back in October of 2018. And the week after I got back, we recorded this album, I Said Take Me to the Water. So I rounded up all the boys, all my bandmates, and we did it in a week in Portland, Maine. So yeah, then I got this gig teaching English as a second language at a bougie kind of half private, half public school in Maine. So being able to hang out with my family has been really nice. I have a lot of sisters, and it's nice to be around family. But that's where my travels have been. And right now I'm in North Carolina. So
yes, yeah.
Yeah.
Might need to check somewhere to see, where am I now? Okay, North Carolina. Do those experiences from up in the Yupik community or in Thailand or Korea, have they found their way into songs?
Absolutely. Yeah, if you actually listen to track 3 on the album, Talk City, that song, the violin and the fiddle, that was done by one of the music teachers in Thailand. He doesn't speak any English, but we connected via music. And when I came back, I had to come back to the States for a wedding, and I went and I bought a really nice microphone, a recording microphone, and just a little bit of gear so that we can have these interactions, and brought it back, because in Thailand you can't buy things like you can buy here in the United States. I was in very rural, in Tung Saliam, which is just a rural town in Thailand. But so I did that, and now they have a little studio set up, and so if I ever want to collaborate, I can put Pasa Thai Thai Noi Naka. I can speak a little Thai and say, this is what I want. I'm going to send you a file.
Yeah.
Because there's some really talented musicians over there.
I bet.
Yeah, and actually today is the anniversary of the Thai Boys in the Cave. You know that?
It
Remember
is,
that story?
right.
And if you go on my YouTube page, I wrote this song that has all Thai instrumentation about the Boys in the Cave, because I was over there last year when that was happening, and it was a really big deal. And powerful when they were all found alive. It was like the whole country just erupted with happiness. So there's a song on my YouTube page called Jao Charam, which is the Boys in the Cave.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. The soccer boys,
Yes.
the soccer team.
Yes, the soccer team in the cave.
Wow, some great stories.
Yeah.
Lauren Crosby here on WNCW. Let's hear one more tune, and then you're headed down to Florida.
Yeah, thank you. The song is called You Don't Need a Rose. And was it David yesterday, one of your listeners who was fabulous? He showed up at the Sirens on the Mountain performance, and he gave me some roses and some sunflowers, and he quoted these lyrics, so I think that's really special.
All right. Another one from Lauren Crosby, wrapping up a live session here on WNCW. Thanks for coming in this morning.
Thank you, Martin. It means a lot to be here. This is a special radio station. You guys have something really good going on, so we really appreciate it.
All right.
Thank you.
Right on. Back at you. We like supporting good independent musicians. And with that, we turn to another one. Here's